So thank you for the opportunity to present the microalgae is the initial living organism to do the photosynthesis. We take full advantage of. We are TrueAlgae. I'm Taka Kamezawa, Chief Relationship Officer. We are changing the global agriculture. So what is the problem? Synthetic fertilizer price shoot up 300% over the last couple of years. When you apply synthetic fertilizer, 70% is wasted. And then also it emits nitrous oxide. It's much more potent than CO2. So how are we going to solve it? We offer sustainable solution. We have a research evidence to cut down the NPK synthetic fertilizer 75%, but still positive yield. How are we going to do it? We increase through signaling beneficial soil microbe up to 1,000%. Since the plants absorb essential macro and micronutrient, we generate the ROI for farmers up to 18 times. So what are some of the soil microbes that we increase? Azosporium over 200%, we fix the nitrogen. Mycorrhizae is so important, it penetrates plant roots and get the water and all of essential mineral to the plants. I really like the trichoderma. Trichoderma, we increase its proliferation up to 1,000%. Trichoderma break down the organic matters. So how we do it? 75% of the air we breathe is nitrogen. We don't have to apply additional nitrogen. We increase azosporium over 200%, and then we can cut down the synthetic fertilizer. So macronutrient is important, but it's also important the micronutrients. So iron deficiency is a huge problem for global agriculture. 30% of global farmland has IDC issues. Iron is such a critical micronutrient, but plant cannot absorb it. So how are we going to do it? We are the first innovation for solving iron deficiency in 70 years, since 1950s. We increase the siderophore producing bacteria, siderophore transport iron to the plant up to 150%. As a result, we have more iron in the leaves, and our price is competitive, cost 16% less. So what is the magic? As you can see behind is a Dover plant. We cultivate microalgae, but I would like to stress that we are not focusing on biomass. We take out the metabolite that microalgae need to grow. If we apply to the soil, through signaling, it increases beneficial soil microbe. We are ultimate regenerative farm because it's 2 strains of microalgae we bought 4 years ago is still reproducing themselves, and we need a very low inputs. So where we are, we have proven result from a specialty crop like a strawberry to raw crops. We are expanding distributors. We are happy to inform that since we defined the mode of action of product, we are talking with mid-sized to large agrochemical company for the potential B2B relationship. So what is superior for a product? There are a lot of leading agtech company, People Bio, Kura Bio, Sound Agriculture. They address only nitrogen or nitrogen and potassium. These are macronutrients. But the plants and us humans need 18 macro and micronutrients. We have proven iron, zinc, and manganese uptake. So we are very different. So meet our team. Nathaniel is the CEO. I really wanted to focus on Angela's thesis. She used to work for Martech. Martech is the only successful microalgae company. It was sold $1.1 billion to DSM. She built the same team, our sales team. Pam Malone is, everybody knows in agtech in the US, she sold already 3 companies. So where we are now, where we are now, we raised $6.4 million. We are trying to close a current seed round for $3 million. That's where we are. So, we, TrueAlgae, we are really changing the global agriculture by taking advantage of the metabolite that microalgae produce. Thank you so much.
Awesome, Taka. Thanks for presenting and sharing. While I bring the other investors in, one quick question I certainly have is, what exactly is your role in the company? Because I didn't see you on the team slide.
So I'm the Chief Relationship Officer. So I'm responsible for fundraising and build the relationship.
Perfect.
So we have about over 100 investors so far.
Very cool. Very cool. Let me bring in everyone. Avina, I would kick things over to you first if you want to take things away. What questions do you have for Taka and TrueAlgae?
TrueAlgae.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Thanks, Taka. It was great learning about the company. I want to learn more about the tractions. How whether the innovations have been sold previously, and if you can share a bit about price point of our tractions from that perspective.
So we have a growing customer. We are focusing on individual farm to distributor. So it costs about $3 per gallon for us to produce a product, and we sell from $15 to $20.
Okay, and how much have you sold so far?
So we are still in a development stage for defining the product. So for a product sale, it's product market fit, right? So we have a growing revenue. We expect this year around $500,000 of sales.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
But the major breakthrough for us is starting from this year, since we defined our product, signaling soil microbe to work, we are talking with a mid to large scale agrochemical company. That's our target.
What was your previous product? If you've raised 6.4 million so far, it sounds like there's some history.
No, this is my second startup that I involved in. My previous startup was a mobile to mobile payment transfer. So, management team, we have lots of contacts. So most of the investors are coming from our own network of, successful professionals. For example, I don't know, probably international audience, probably some of you might not be familiar. Seth Goldman is the founder of Honesty and also executive chairman of Beyond Meat. Seth is one of those investors in our company.
Are they doing any pilots with the product?
No, because they are focusing on biomass. Actually, microalgae can produce biomass, but our focus is using the metabolite that microalgae needed to grow. So we are focusing on the metabolite, not the actual biomass. So I don't think we'll work with Beyond Meat.
Okay. Matthias, do you have questions for Taka?
Sure, yes. Thank you, Taka. You said very clearly you focus on the metabolites and not on the algae biomass itself. But the question is then, what happens to the algae if they reach the end of their lifetime?
Oh, no, because they constantly reproducing themselves.
Okay.
So what we do is we have already generation 3.0, but this is our original technology. We take out the water half, and then we take out the metabolites, and we also take the biomass. But the density and then we put the water back in. The density of microalgae is such we can harvest our product, which is I can show you this metabolites. 96% water, 4% metabolites. So we are really ultimate regenerative farm because it's microalgae uses photosynthesis. So we have natural sunlight, a little bit of trace mineral, a little bit of CO2, and then they continue to produce our product.
Okay. And are there specific crops where your metabolites are especially beneficial, or does it just work everywhere? And my last question, how does the benefit compare to traditional nitrogen-based fertilizers?
So initially, since our plant is Dover, Florida, we started with a strawberry. So initially the strawberry farm, but the last 2 years, we are trying for raw crops. So strawberry, we recommend bi-weekly application, weekly application because it has fruits, but soybeans and corn, we apply only twice, and we see the yield increase of over 5%, sometimes 10%. So as long as the plants sit on the soil, since we enhance many beneficial soil microbes, it works. So the difference with a nitrogen fertilizer is that instead of applying additional synthetic fertilizer, we take the completely different way. For example, 75% of the air we breathe is nitrogen. If we increase the azosporium, they will fix the nitrogen for the plants. So we take the very different approach. And some of our other competitors, like People Bio, they apply microbe who fix the nitrogen, but there's already existing microbe in the soil. Why we don't help them to do their work instead of applying additional, the synthetic fertilizer or the iron? Earth is made up of iron. Why you apply additional chelated iron? You don't have to do it. You don't have to mine. Instead, we should help increase the siderophore producing bacteria, which transport iron to the plant.
How large were those studies that you did that had the 5 and 10% yield increases, and what crops were they specifically?
Oh, so it's across soybeans, strawberries, and we can share those data. And if you look at our website, in the resource pages, we publish all our data. So we are very transparent.
And how do costs compare to synthetic fertilizer? And then I'll hand things over to Tim.
Yeah, it's significant because it's instead of applying, additional synthetic fertilizer, we can cut down those synthetic fertilizers. So some of for the farmers, it's very courageous to switch it or reduce it. But this is the anecdotal evidence. For the strawberry farmer that we are working with, I understand they cut down the synthetic fertilizer usage by 25%. But yield increase alone will pay off our product.
Sorry.
No, you're
Go
good,
ahead,
Tim.
All right, cheers. So thanks so much for the pitch, Taka. Super interesting. Maybe a bit of a twofold question. One is you had a little comparison with the competitors, and I know like sustainable fertilizers is a huge market. I think especially in the US, it's growing a lot. So I'm just curious: is no one else using a similar approach to what you're doing? And then secondly, what's the substitute? Like what's currently being used, and why will millions or hundreds and thousands of farmers use your solution instead of the others? Like why will this be the next big thing, and why will this really scale in comparison to the sustainable solutions that are out there?
So our direct competitor is called Helier. So they cultivate microalgae, but what they do is they pasteurize it. So we don't do it. So they kill microalgae and also kill probably metabolites, but still has an effect. So our approach is completely different. We filter out, and the final product is metabolites that microalgae grow in. So, and what was your second question?
Oh, it's basically, the first one, like if the approach is different, and then the second one with the different approaches that exist. I mean, I'm sure there's also some good alternatives for sustainable fertilizer. Is there like a certain edge that this method has over others that are currently being used? Like why is it like on a price or on a sustainability, or where's like the selling proposition?
I mean, there are a number of great benefits for a product. First of all, like soybeans and row crops, only apply twice. It doesn't cost much per acre. We can consistently increase 5% or sometimes double digit. So yield increase alone, it makes sense. And since our product doesn't have any carbon or anything, we can mix with anything, fungicide, anything, you name it. And probably one of the benefits of our technology is since the plants absorb all the macro and micronutrients, we can extend the shelf life for strawberry for 1 week. I mean, this is not necessarily beneficial for the farmers, but this is one of the benefits. And also, we are data driven, so we have to prove it. But we believe that we have an effect of a drought, for example, to fight, because it's the plants has more diverse and more abundant fungi community. It's going to help them to absorb water and also absorb the nutrients.
Right. And what's the kind of ideal investor that you're looking for? Like someone who leads? Or?
So no, I think we really need somebody who understands the climate aspect of it. We really wanted to do more research on this. So since we are really discovering the new science of soil interaction with metabolites, we have to do a lot of R&D. So we are looking for investors who want to take our technology to address the climate change. So that's very important. So it's only one data point, but for me, it's really significant. Last year, we did the organic soybean trial, only 2 applications of product, and they experienced significant drought. Yield difference was 60%. So we have a possibility of using our product as insurance purposes. Farmer, you don't know what's going to happen for your yield, but if you apply twice, you might mitigate the negative impact of climate change. But we really have to prove it. So we really need to do more research and development in this area.
Do you have IP?
Oh yes, model production and use of our technology product in the soil we apply to as well. So sometimes we have very good result, like mycorrhizae fungi actually has 450 million years of give and take relationship. They penetrate the plant roots and they absorb all these important nutrients, including water, and then they receive the carbon out of photosynthesis, like 40%, because it's so important. They have mutually beneficial relationship lasted 450 million years. We enhance those. So it's incredible technology we have.